everyone, today we will study about welding. What is welding? Welding is a fabrication or sculptural process that joins materials, usually metals or thermoplastics, by causing fusion, which is distinct from lower temperature metal joining techniques such as brazing and soldering, which do not melt the base metal. Pressure may also be used in conjunction with heat or by itself to produce a weld. We will first discuss about the types of joints used in welding. They are butt joint, corner joint, lap joint, T-joint and edge joint. So as you can see, there are 5 types of joints used in welding. We will discuss about them one by one. We will start with butt joint. In butt welded type, the parts lie in the same plane and are joined at their edges. So next is corner joint. Corner joint is also similar to butt joint. The welding is done edge to edge only, but the difference lies in the fact that the parts in a corner joint form a right angle and are joined at the center of the angle. The next type of joint is lap joint. In lap joint, the two workpieces lie in separate planes. So the workpieces are in two different planes. And lap joint consists of two overlapping parts. That means the workpieces, they have some surface that is being overlapped by the other workpiece. So due to this overlapping, this type of joint is called lap joint. The next type of joint is edge joint. The parts in edge joint are parallel with at least one of their edges in common, and the joint is made at the common edge. The next type of joint is T-joint. In a T-joint, one joint is the right angle to the other joint in the approximate shape of the letter T. Now we will study about types of welding. Our first type is electrogas welding. The electrogas welding, EGW, is a continuous vertical position arc welding process in which an arc is struck between a consumable electrode and the workpiece. A shielding gas is sometimes used, but pressure is not applied. Gases like CO2 is used to avoid the oxidation of the workpiece. Moving forward to the next type of welding, which is electroslag welding. Electroslag welding is quite similar to electrogas welding. The main difference is that the arc is started between the electrode tip and the bottom of the part to be welded. Flux is added, which then melts by the heat of the arc. After the molten slag reaches the tip of the electrode, the arc is extinguished. But the arc in electrogas welding is not extinguished, instead remains struck throughout the welding process. The quality of welding, thus, in this case is improved. The next type of welding is explosion welding. Explosion welding is a solid state process where welding is accomplished by accelerating one of the components at extremely high velocity through the use of chemical explosives. Due to collision of both workpieces, welding is achieved. In explosion welding, the two workpieces are kept at an angle to each other. On one of these, we attach a layer of explosive metal. With the explosion of that metal, the workpiece attains a high velocity. Due to this velocity, collision takes place between the two workpieces, which is how the welding takes place. Our next type of welding is ultrasonic welding. Ultrasonic welding is an industrial technique whereby high-frequency ultrasonic vibrations are locally applied to workpieces being held together under pressure to create a solid-state weld. It is commonly used for plastics and especially for joining dissimilar materials. The next type of welding is electron beam welding. Electron beam welding is a fusion welding process in which a beam of high-velocity electrons is applied to two materials to be joined. The workpieces melt and flow together as the kinetic energy of the electrons is transformed into heat upon impact. The last type of welding is laser beam welding. Laser beam welding is a technique in manufacturing whereby two or more pieces of material, usually metal, are joined by together through the use of a laser beam. It is a non-contact process that requires access to the weld zone from one side of the parts being welded. The weld is formed as the intense laser light rapidly heats the material, typically calculated in milliseconds. The laser beam increases the pressure and temperature, which in turn welds the workpieces together. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.